So yes, we have dealt with the time change. And I don't know about you, but I am still dealing with the time change. The other day, I took some bread out of the refrigerator and I put it on the counter. And then I spent the next 20 minutes looking for the bread that I had just taken out of the refrigerator and put on the counter. So I'm going to say directly correlated to a shift in when I'm waking up and when the sun is waking me up. So I wore this shirt. It's actually one of the climbing gyms near me, but I wore this shirt to kind of welcome back the sun and maybe embrace that change of time. And so our yoga practice today, our theme is embracing daylight saving and the change of the time, and acknowledging that our systems, our physical and our mental and emotional systems, will be totally off for 1 to 2 weeks, even maybe not in very obvious ways. They might be very subtle. So this is a practice that we can take into our lives to maybe make that transition a little bit better. So we'll start in an easy seat. And if you would like, you can always sit on a meditation cushion or a thin blanket. And I'm rolling forward, pretending like I'm putting something under my hip. But that's just to maybe send the lower back forward. But if you're comfortable where you are, we're going to start with something called 5 ocean breaths. So we always begin with breath work in order to close out whatever our day was and just to start over it. And I'm going to take my hands, and you have the options. You want to put your hands right here on your ribs or behind you on your back. In either case, before we get started, wherever you're holding your hands are going to observe the inhale as they expand the ribs and the exhales as they contract, just like the ocean. So maybe before we get started, take a moment to really visualize, closing your eyes and visualizing the ocean. I think some of us have an easier time visualizing. You just look out the window. But thinking about the ocean and thinking about the waves crashing on the shore and how they rush back, maybe that's the inhale. And then when they come and they curve down and they crash on the shore, that's our exhale. 5 of those breaths, imagining that we are just as the ocean, feeling with our hands on our back or on our front, feeling the ribs expand. So let's start with an inhale. Inhaling like the waves rushing back into the ocean, feeling the ribs expanding in our back or in our front. And exhale. Feeling the water rushing onto the shore, the ribs closing toward each other. 4 more times. Inhaling, expanding. Exhale, contracting. Inhale, the wave rushes out. Exhale, the wave crashes on the floor. 2 more. Inhaling. Feel how your body changes. Exhale. Last time, inhaling as deeply as you can. And exhaling. Awesome. My voice suddenly got really dry. I apologize. All right. So from here, we're going to reach out into a staff pose. So that just means legs are straight, sit bones are connected to the mat, sitting up straight. And if you can see my feet, I'm just going to point and flex my feet. And if you can't stretch them all the way out, maybe you have a blanket or rolled up mat under your knees, and you can do the same thing here. So stretching your feet out. You might even do some circles with your feet. And don't worry if your knees don't come all the way down to the mat. Okay, we're gonna do a little warm-up circuit. All right, so starting from our staff pose, let's bring the right knee in toward the chest, right foot on the mat, wherever is comfortable for you. Take your left hand or your left elbow. Inhale and exhale, gently twisting and bringing the right hand behind your right hand. Inhale your spine nice and tall to protect your lower back. And exhale, give a little bit more of a twist. Allow your right knee to drop down. We'll inhale the arms up nice and tall, spine is tall. And exhale, reaching your fingers toward your left foot. Now, you might end up on your shin, you might end up on a block, or you might end up at your toes, but head to knee. Aim your head toward your knee. Wherever you're at is where you need to be. Ooh, I made it wrong. Breathing here, spending your energy in elongating your neck. Feel the stretch in the lower back. And when you exhale, maybe bend just a little further. Make sure not to curve your back. Keep your back straight. There's no need to meet your face to your knee, though. Your head just goes toward your knee. Awesome. Inhale deeply and exhale, releasing. Now, since we're doing a little warm-up flow, I'm going to bring my ankles together and roll into a tabletop and then into a wide-legged child's pose. Knees are as wide as the mat, toes come together. Exhale your hips towards your heels. If you need a block under your hips for support, you can do that. Reaching down, you can use a block under your head or forehead comes to mat. Take your head now and gently turn to the right. Your hands can be to the side or by your legs. Be careful with your neck here. Keep your spine nice and long. Weight is still pushing through your tailbone. Breathing here. Take stock of your body. Take stock of where you are. How has your transition to daylight savings been? I was pretty grumpy for a couple days, so I know that I'm going to check in right now. Am I still grumpy? Am I feeling better? Take one more deep breath here, inhaling and exhale. And placing the hands on the mat gently and slowly releasing from our child's pose. I'm going to cross my ankles again and roll back and reach my legs up. But however you come back to your staff pose is how you come to your staff pose. Okay, make sure our spine is nice and tall. Maybe shake it out a little bit. And this time, inhaling the arms up overhead and exhaling, reaching toward the toes. Again, you might end up on your shins. You might have something under your knees if you can't stretch your legs out quite straight, and that's great. Maybe your hands are on your toes here. But keep that back, keep the integrity of your back. Breathing into the backs of the legs. Take one more breath here, inhaling and exhale, gently release, coming back to sitting. Now, keep the right leg straight and bring the left knee up, left foot on the floor. And this time, take your right hand or your right elbow. Capture your left knee and then inhale your spine nice and tall and exhale, placing your left hand behind your left hip, gentle twist. Inhale tall and exhale twist. Gently release. Now let's let that left knee drop to the side. And we'll do the head to knee on this one, on this right leg. Inhale, arms up overhead, and exhale, reaching toward the toes or toward the shin, but face looks at your knee. With each slow inhale, make sure that spine is nice and tall and long, and exhale a little closer to your knee. Everyone's going to be a little different, and maybe in 2 weeks, you keep doing this regularly, you'll find that you're a lot further than you were, a lot closer, I should say, than you were at the start. Take at least one more deep inhale to stretch out the back and exhale, coming closer to the knee. Awesome. Gently release, coming back up to sitting. And we're going to do a child's pose with the head turned the other way. So I'm crossing my ankles and rolling through to a brief tabletop. Not knees as wide as the mat, toes together, hips back, forehead down to the mat. And you can always, again, block under the hips, block under the forehead, whatever is going to feel good. And this time, very gently turning the head to the left. Breathing here. Maybe this is a good time for you to make an intention for the practice or for your yoga for the week. Whatever is going to work for you. Take one more deep inhale here. And exhale, we'll slowly release from our child's pose. Come back up to a tabletop. So meet me here. We're going to do a little flow today to try to get our mental, emotional, and physical self sorted with all of this time change business. We aren't using any specific props today, but if there are any props that you would like to use, make sure you have them. So from our tabletop, let's curl our toes. And we're going to send those hips back into a nice down dog. And let's take a minute to really check on our form. So that means maybe walk the dog. And when you walk the dog, I know we always say that phrase, but in case you don't know what that really means, we're stretching out the backs of our legs or waking up the backs of our legs, but we're also waking up our feet. So focus on your feet too. Your heels may not come down all the way, but that doesn't mean that you can't pedal. In this first down dog, it's also a great opportunity to really push through the fingers and stretch up into the upper back. Check on the form where you are in your down dog. Okay. All right, so we're going to quiet our dog. And if you can't quite bring the heels down, bend the knees. And let's bear crawl, walking our hands back toward the feet. And now I'm at the back of my mat. From here, slowly rolling up to standing. Excellent. Now I'm going to turn my position just so you can see me a little better. We're going to do an upward salute. So this is going to start our flow, and our flow is a little longer than they normally is. Pressing my feet into the mat, so really sending that energy down into the mat. Inhale my fingertips up in the opposite direction. Take a moment to think about your chest being open. It's my sun, right? So it's my sun shining up. Fingertips going up toward the ceiling, but feet, the energy is going down through the feet. So feel that opposing force. Now let's take our left hand and capture the right wrist. Arms stay up on either side of your ears. Inhale and exhale. The left hand gently guides the right hand over to the left. Keeping that chest open. Breathing in to the space you are building on your right side. Make sure you're still having a lot of weight on that right foot, not coming up. Take one more breath here. Inhale and exhale, reaching the fingertips up again towards the sky, upward salute, extended mountain. Exhale, diving down, forward fold. Slight bend in the knees, hinging at the hips, hands toward the shins, a block, or the floor. Take a moment in this forward fold to release your neck, release your shoulders, maybe shake your head back and forth. Take a moment to let whatever has gone on in your workday drip off your back, drip off your head, and float away. Okay, now we're going to bear crawl back out into a downward facing dog. So hand by hand, my feet stay where they are. I'm going to walk my hands out into a nice down dog. Pushing through the fingers, weight on the left foot. Inhale the right foot up as straight as you can. Breathing, keeping the hips even. Now let's inhale a little bit more and exhale, bending that right knee and letting the right foot fall over to the left. Your hips are stacked. You'll feel a little more weight on your left foot than your right. Try to keep that balance here. Now, if this is a little bit too much, you could always bring that leg down and just see if you can get a little bit more there. But otherwise, breathing into this here. Take one more breath. Inhale and exhale. Slowly unstack the hips. Bring the knee, your bent knee, through the center line and plant your right foot by your right thumb. Shift that back foot. Activate the thighs. They're squeezing toward each other. And inhale up to a warrior one. So we'll stay here for just a moment. So check your posture. Check your legs. Check yourself before you wreck yourself. Just kidding. We'll inhale here and exhale. I'm going to move into a warrior two. So my back foot shifts just a little bit. Right foot stays where it is. And my hips open up. So my hips are facing now toward the wall, whereas before they were facing, well, my guitar, but you can't see that. Okay, feel the fingertips going in opposite directions. Right fingertip goes forward, left fingertip goes back. Everyone will have a different length in their stance here. Breathe here for a little bit. And then inhale and exhale into a reverse or peaceful warrior. Left hand to your left side. Right fingertips up toward the ceiling. Your chest is open. Don't collapse in. Keep that chest open. All right, inhale and shift into a side angle. Now you can keep your right forearm on your right thigh, reaching the left hand forward. Or you can bring your torso down to your thigh and reach your arms up. whichever you would like. Take another breath here. Inhale and exhale. We're going to shift our hips so that we're forward again. The weight's going to come onto our right foot. Right knee comes up. Now, we can always use a wall if we need a little balance, or we can keep our knee right here. See, it's only slightly bent, but bring it all the way up. Now, wherever you're at, holding onto that posture, activating your core, we're going to do some knee circles. So I'm going to face you. Maybe that'll make it a little better. But I'm going to draw a circle with my left knee, coming up and out and down. I'm going to do between 3 and 5. And you might be doing little circles, and that's okay, or maybe big circles, or maybe a combination. Once you've gotten to about 5, go the opposite direction. Maybe do a couple really big circles, and a couple little ones. Okay, now you can stay here. You can bring your toe down if you want to and just work on that posture, or challenge yourself hand to toe. You can use left hand to left toe, or what if you tried your right hand to your left toe? You grab that. What happens? Can you do it? You can hold on to a wall, or you could just hold on if you wanted to try it this way. You know, maybe you don't have to stretch your leg out all the way yet. Maybe you do. But see if you can grab with your right hand. And if you fall, just try it again. All about trying new things. I think that's the most important thing I've learned about the time change. Try new things. Okay, let's slowly release our hand to toe. Ooh, mess up our mat. Pardon me, technical difficulties. Okay, and I'm going to step my left foot through, and we're going to come into a low lunge. So back leg, left leg goes all the way back. We're in a nice low lunge. Hips are aligned. Make sure we're not twisted back. So our hips are going toward the front of the mat. Straighten out that knee, even if it pops, because mine just did. All right. Holding that, opening up that chest. Hands can be on the hips. So you can get a little lower. Now, if you need to, you can always lower that back knee. No stress. Okay. Or if you want to keep that up, keep a little hover. You can even just keep a little bend in that knee. All right. Take one more breath. Inhale and exhale. We're going to take the left hand, place the left hand by the right knee, by the right foot, not the knee. Inhale the right fingertips up toward the ceiling. Twisted lunge. Again, bring your knee down if you need it. See if you can hover. Take one more deep breath here. Inhale and exhale. Lower down that left knee. And we're going to come into a little twisted monkey. Now, from here, a twisted monkey means I'm going to end up reaching my left foot. So if you're familiar with it and you wanted to get started, you're welcome to. But for anyone who is new to it, you can hold your left hand on your right knee and maybe just start by trying to reach back. And if that's good enough for you today, that's fine. Maybe even try to bring up that left knee a little bit. Or you can go ahead and grab that and really straightening your back using the left hand against your knee, twisting. So we did a little practice twist earlier and see if we can apply that. Take one more good breath here. Inhaling and exhale. Slowly release. Bring your hands back to the mat. I'm going to step my right leg back. So I'm almost in a tabletop. I'm going to reach my left foot so that I'm coming into a supported plank. My weight presses into my right hand under my shoulder, and in supported plank, reaching up my left fingertips toward the ceiling. Now you can stay in supported plank here, or reach out that right leg, and you can either be staggered or feet on top of each other. There's so many options. Fingertips up toward the ceiling, wherever you're at. We're going to do a little flow. Fingertips reaching up, inhale and exhale. My left hand is going to dive down to the earth and maybe comes under the armpit a little bit. Hello. Inhale, twisting the fingertips back up to the ceiling. Exhale, fingertips dive under the armpit. One more time. Inhale, fingertips up to the ceiling. Exhale, fingertips dive under the armpit. Place the left hand on the mat and knees come back to a tabletop. And when you can, shake it out. Shake it all out. Okay, so that's the first half of our flow. It's a little bit longer than it normally is. So we're going to take it slow and have fun. All right, let's keep going. Tuck our toes and send our hips back into a down dog. All right, let's walk those hands like a little bear back toward our toes. Now we're in a forward fold at the back of the mat. Inhale, slowly rising up, and we'll do an upward salute or extended mountain on the other side. So feet pressing into the mat. Inhale, fingertips up towards the ceiling. Opening up that chest, feeling the contradiction of the fingers going one direction, the weight on your feet going the other. This time, right hand captures the left. Inhale and exhale, gently guiding over to the right. Feel the space that's building on the left side. Think back to our opening breath work. With each breath, can you feel the ocean? Take a deep inhale in, inhale, reaching the fingertips up, and exhale, hinging at the hips, diving down toward our shins, a block, or our toes, forward fold. And let's go ahead and bear crawl. Hands moving slowly to walk us into a down dog. Fingertips pressing into the hips, keeping that nice strong line. Okay, this time, weight goes on the right foot. Inhale the left foot up as strong as you can. Wherever you're at is where you need to be. Really pressing through, activating the core, keeping the back working. Inhale, go a little higher, and exhale, bending that left knee and letting the left foot fall to the right. You don't have to go very far. Stacking the hips. Take one more inhale in and exhale. Unstack the hips. Bring that knee in through the center. Place your left foot by the left side. Shift your right foot. Activate your thighs so that they're squeezing toward each other. Come up to a warrior one. Warrior one, our hips are facing the front of the mat. Chest is open. We're breathing. I'd like to remind you to breathe. I forget to breathe periodically. Inhale and exhale. Now we'll shift the hips to the long end of the mat. Maybe move that back foot back a little bit into warrior two. Opening up that chest, pulling the pinkies back away. Check on your front knee, make sure it's not collapsing in, it's nice and strong. And let's inhale. Left fingertips over your head, right hand comes to the back of your right thigh to reverse or peaceful warrior. Inhale and exhale, shifting the weight into extended side angle. The left forearm can come to your left thigh, right fingertips reaching out, continue the line of your right leg. Or If you want a little bit more, torso comes down, right, and your hands reach out. Whichever one is feeling good for you today, but keep that chest open. Don't collapse it. Excellent. Inhale, and we're going to shift our hips to face the front again. Weight is going to shift onto our left foot, coming up and back nice and straight, bending our right knee now. And we can stay down here and just do our knee circles here, or see if you can challenge your drishti or your focal point and bring that right knee up. We'll do 3 to 5 knee circles in varying sizes, small or big. Going slowly. And then try the other direction. Remember, you can always be doing this down here too. Awesome. Okay, from our knee rotation, we're going to do a little toe to hand. So we have done this recently, right fingers to right toe. You might be here, or I challenge you to try the left hand to the right toes. Do something a little bit different. Way to wake up our brains. Wherever you're at is great. So yeah, maybe we're just like right here. Maybe we're extended. Maybe we're left hand to right toe. It's your journey, you choose. All right, take one more good breath in, inhaling, and exhale, slowly release, bringing your leg back to a low lunge. So now their left foot is forward, right foot is back, coming down to a low lunge. Low lunge can be knee on the ground, it could be bent and hovering, or it could be a little bit straighter. Whatever's working for you, but check your hips regardless. Hips should be facing the short end of the mat. Breathing in. I asked you to do a lot with that toe to hand and the knee rotation. They might be a little out of breath, or is that just me? All right, so now we're going to take the right hand and place the right hand by the left foot and inhale the left fingertips up toward the ceiling. Wherever your back leg is, now we're going to do that twisted monkey again. So I'm going to lower my right knee, and you could place your right hand on the left knee and maybe just do a little twist here. Maybe reaching toward that foot. Maybe you're just bringing the foot up a little bit, or maybe you actually capture it. Grab that foot and inhale your spine tall and exhale, twist. So whether you're holding your foot or not, actively send your left hand back toward your foot and twist. All right, inhale and exhale, slowly untwist. Hands come planted next to your left foot. And we're going to reach that left knee back, bent on the floor, and the right leg out here. We have that little triangle, our little supported plank, a supported side plank. To stay here, inhale, pressing through the left hand. Weight goes through the left hand under the left shoulder. Inhaling, right fingertips up toward the ceiling. You can stay in our supported plank here, or reach out, stacked or staggered feet, whichever is going to work for you today. Right fingertips toward the ceiling. We'll do a little flow again. Inhale, fingertips up. Exhale, fingertips dive down under the armpit. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, diving down. Inhale. And exhale. Let's plant our hands here. Knees come down to the mat. And let's take a moment to just come back into a normal, traditional child. Knees are bent, hips go back, forehead down. Catch your breath. Take stock of how you are feeling right now. Always make observations, but never judgment, right? Now that whole flow, I'll give you the video later. That whole flow, if you do it a couple times in a row, it's really good to reset our clocks, our internal clock. At least I have found that to be the case. So you're welcome to go back and try that. All right, so let's inhale, coming up out of our child's pose into our tabletop, crossing my ankle. I'm going to sit back. I'm going to come back into some floor work. Yay. All right, feet planted on the mat, knees are bent, slowly rolling down onto our back. All right, so from here, I'm going to bring my knees in towards my chest and just give myself a little hug, a little wind release pose. And let go and let my feet come back down. We'll do a little bridge here. We're going to do another little circuit. Pressing my feet into the mat. Knees are bent. Hands will be on the mat, pressing through the mat. The hands, the forearms, and the feet. Inhale, bringing those hips up, pressing through the feet, pressing through the hands into a bridge. Making sure to take off as much pressure on your neck as you can. We don't want to feel a lot of pressure there. Breathing into our hips, breathing into our lower back. Take stock of how everything's feeling. Are you supporting yourself? Take one more breath, inhale and exhale, slowly rolling down vertebrae by vertebrae. And now, with our knees bent like this, take your right knee and just hang it over our left. We're going to bring our knees toward our chest and grab our shins. Do a little cow face, reclined cow face pose. You want to grab your ankles, you could grab your ankles as well. Some people call this shoelace pose, reclined shoelace pose, because you're grabbing onto where the shoelaces would be. Okay, holding on to this. Where are you feeling this? I currently am feeling this in my hip flexors. If this doesn't hurt, as always, if this does hurt, as always, please back out of pose. Okay, and now we'll release the feet or the shins, and I'm going to take my left hand and help guide both my knees over to a little supine twist over to the left. The knees go to the left. If you need a block under the knees for support, that can really help. Right hand reaches out to the right, eyes gaze on the right hand. And let's slowly release and bring ourselves back to center. Unstack your knees. We're going to try bringing our knees into the chest again. So wind release pose. But this time, see if you can bring, if you hadn't done it last time, bring your nose or your chin as close to your knees as you can. And hold that there for just a moment. I'm going to take a second. You can hold right here or join me in rocking back and forth a little bit. It uses your abdomen, but it also helps to massage your back a little bit. But If you just want to hold in your wind release, you could do that. Okay, one last one. Meet me back. Back us back on the mat. Let our heels drop down by our hips. We'll do one more bridge. This time, maybe we'll add a little bind in there. Okay, pressing through the feet, pressing through your hands and your forearms. Inhale those hips up as high as you can, activating your core, really pushing the belly button toward the ceiling. Now, for those who'd like, add that bind in if you haven't already. Hands clutched together under your tailbone, pressing into the earth. A little workout for your triceps as well. Take one more breath here, inhaling. And exhale, releasing your bind, releasing your back slowly and coming down. Keeping your knees bent. This time, take the right knee and bring the right knee over, left knee, the left knee over the right. I'm good at this, guys. I'm good. I got this. Okay. Bring those knees in towards you, and maybe you're grabbing just at the knees, the shins, or the feet for like a shoelace pose. We'll do a reclined cow face. I'm going to take my right hand, release my feet, and guide my knees to drop over to the right. Take a little supine twist to the right. Left hand reaches to the left. Eyes gaze on your left hand. I don't know about you, but my left hip just popped, and it felt good. It was popping in a good way. If you feel like that's too much strain on your lower back, though, just to show you, you can always put a block under your knee. It'll give you a gentle twist and support your lower back. And let's go ahead and bring our knees back to center. And we're going to do a little seated work today instead of doing our normal shavasana. So I am just going to roll back up into seated position. However you want to come back is great. And we're going to do a little Baddha Konasana with some foot massage. So that means coming to a good seated position. Make sure your sits bones are connected to the mat. Feet are as close together as they can be. Now, if they're not exactly touching, that's okay, because we're going to give ourselves a little foot massage. Yay. I like this idea because if we are dealing with changing seasons and our circadian rhythms are all off, taking a moment to just check in, do a little foot massage is nice. I don't like anyone touching my feet, but I like to touch my feet. It's a weird thing. If you feel like you needed to wash your hands or your feet first before you do this, I totally understand. If you don't want to give yourself a massage right now, you don't need to. Now, with your knees out, if you are feeling like that hurts a little bit too much, block under the knee, great support. But otherwise, just settling into our Baddha Konasana, taking your thumb and just maybe rubbing on the inside of your feet. Make each movement, if you're feeling like it's good to rub your feet, you don't care if they're stinky, you don't mind washing later, but make some intentional movements here. What feels good? What doesn't? I'm rubbing the arch of my foot right now. And there is a lot of acupuncture that will tell us there's certain parts of the feet that can help to activate certain parts of our body as well. Might do a whole class on that sometime. But for right now, I'm just rubbing the arch of my foot. Sometimes it's not about the acupuncture. Sometimes it's about I've been in my snowboard boots all day. My feet are tired. And then maybe I'm going to move my thumbs and my fingers up to my big toes and the undersides of the toes. Kind of sandwich them. See what that feels like to kind of move the toes around. Just give the toes love. How often do we really give our feet any love? I don't do pedicures. I don't do foot massages. So this is the time for me to check in with myself in a way that I don't normally. And I think the time change is a great time of year for us to really do something different for ourselves. And then I'm going to take my fingers and I'm just going to rub the tops of my feet as well. Maybe even the ankles, the tendons there. And I'm going to spend the last couple minutes here just finding a place of silence and quiet. Maybe I'll grab my feet, keep the toes warm, keep my spine nice and tall. And I invite you to close your eyes or soften your gaze. And just start breathing naturally. Feel your body start to become heavy. Maybe feel your head become light. Go back to the image of the ocean. See if you can hear the ocean in your breath right now. Keep breathing naturally, just observing your body and observing your breath. Let's come back, maybe bat our eyes open, maybe shake our knees a little bit like a little butterfly. And we can come out of our Supta Baddha, or yes, our Baddha Konasana, we're not Supta Baddha Konasana. I'm just going to come into a little seated posture here. We're going to do 3 collective breaths. On the inhale, we'll raise our arms up overhead. On the exhale, bring it down to center. If we're ready, let's inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, hands to center. We'll do that 2 more times. Inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, hands to center. And last time, inhale, big sweeping arms, big breath. And exhale it all out. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. This was one of my favorite postures. I'm glad we all got to do this together. And I hope everyone has a great rest of your night. Namaste.